Right, I'll be as brief with this as I can, but it's really just to give you an update on since our last presentation about what we do and what we've been doing, what we've actually managed to achieve. So since last October, when we last gave an update, obviously we've come out of lockdown and we've continued to represent GIST patient interests at all sorts of meetings, all of them virtually. Which, while better than nothing, definitely aren't as good as the real thing, but there we go. I think, obviously, COVID has slowed down research as well, because most of the specialists and researchers that you talk to are all lamenting over the fact that, you know, the ESMO conference, for example, wouldn't it be great when we can get back together again, because there's nothing to replace those interactions of human beings talking over a coffee and sharing information. So hopefully, you know, as we move forward, that will change. Obviously, we launched our first research project with RareCan, as Professor Hall mentioned earlier, and we were able to hold our second Paul's GIST clinic post-COVID, even though obviously we were all masked up. I think that's rather an amusing picture, but I did manage to get most of the team in. And we actually concluded a research collaboration for one of the specialists of the Paul's GIST Consortium. It's our first ever collaboration with Sarcoma UK. We've got one representative from Sarcoma UK here today. And I would hope that, you know, this bodes well for the future in terms of our joining forces to be able to offer the size of grant funding that's required for some of these research projects, because yes, we've got funding for research into GIST, but obviously if you can join forces with another interested party, you can afford more. So that's a really good progression. Yeah, exactly. We could, if they could redirect some of their funds into our bank account, that would be good.
Jane, we can give this the size of that fund, I think, can't we?
Yeah, certainly. It's 140,000, the joint funding. In terms of us, obviously the helpline and support team have been kept very busy. I think the actual numbers of people that are registering with us has grown now. You know, roughly every month. Tony, how many?
Somewhere between 10
10 a month, which, you know, is considerably more than when I first joined. But obviously we've got an online registration system, which I think makes things easier now. We have a new trustee who's not here today. He lives in Aberdeen, and I think he's got some appointments at the hospital that he needs. He's also a GIST patient, so he's going to those hospital appointments. But he's joined the board. There's a lady called Catherine Rogers who, from our last meeting, said that she'd like to join our helpline team. So it is proposed that hopefully she will be joining our team. She's a GIST patient and a recently retired oncology nurse, so hopefully she'll be a good addition to our team. And Sarah Waters, who's at the back there, the lovely redhead at the back, she's actually strengthening our administrative support. Other quite significant things, so in addition to obviously the video that you saw earlier, which we've put together for GP education and primary care education, we also collaborated with an organisation called Gateway C, who are based at the Christie up in Manchester, and they approached us to basically say they were putting together a sarcoma early diagnosis course, obviously in collaboration also with Sarcoma UK, and we basically gave input to their GIST section of that course. The course is online and live. So we've got two things which are focused on obviously sarcoma and GIST, which are going to be in the public domain very shortly. This top one is already in the public domain, but they're all things that we need to make sure GPs and primary carers are aware of, you know, because they'll learn more and hopefully pick up on things for patients both now and in the future. In terms of what Nick mentioned just now, obviously we've had some fantastic support with our fundraisers across the country, people who are family members or just patients themselves who've decided, you know, they'd like to do something to support what we're doing, which is to represent the interests of GIST patients in the UK. Obviously there were organised campaigns such as the Big Give, and we did an awareness day appeal last year, which was really a slow burner, I suppose. It started off on the 13th of July with letters going out to everyone that we knew. and a collection box and various other things. And through the year has actually reaped quite decent rewards. So we're very grateful to everybody who's helped us in those ways. The odd swear box here and there collects up after a while, especially if you're in my household. So individual activities, we've had people up in Scotland doing the kilt walk, running half marathons. Unfortunately, there have been a few funeral collections, Christmas activities, birthday fundraisers on Facebook. There's any number of different things, sporting events, skydives, etc. And the reason I've got kilt walk on here, or should I say, this would have been Stella's bit actually, but the reason Stella's got kilt walk on there is because obviously this is an event which you might imagine only happens in Scotland, and it does happen in Scotland in reality. And that's the team that entered last year, and I think it was around about £7,000 that they raised for this charity, which was fantastic. But the beauty of the kilt walk is that whatever is raised by the people participating, they top it up by 50%. I think it's the Hunter Foundation tops it up by 50%, so it really makes it a worthwhile thing to do. But they also have a virtual option. So obviously we're just drawing it to anyone's attention who likes walking, and they've got all sorts of varieties of walk. There's a wee walk, which is probably only just a couple of kilometres, and it goes right up to 26 miles, I think it is. So you can select whatever you want to do, and with the virtual version of it, you can do it wherever you are. We've also got places with Ride London. We haven't had many people taking up this super opportunity. So I think we've decided that we're happy to drop the entry fee. So if there's anybody you know that likes cycling, I gather also there are various routes with this. You don't have to do 100 miles, you can do lesser routes as well. But if anyone is a keen cyclist that would like to take part on the 29th of May, then let the fundraising team know at fundraising@giscancer.org.uk. Social media, we have obviously a team who handle our social media. They asked me to just ask if anybody would like to, engage with them to talk about their story, etc., any interesting things they've been doing, and that they think might make a good article. So if you are interested in that, send some kind of notification to fundraising address again, and they'll be back in contact with you. I think they're looking for some real-life people stories, if you see what I mean. We've had a few, and there are some about us as trustees at the moment, but obviously we'd like to blend it a bit with other real-life people. David Lane is going to be actually taking over as our lead for fundraising from a trustee perspective from the 30th of March, because Stella will be retiring. She's become a grandmother and is expected to do child-caring duties while her daughter-in-law goes back to work. So she's with us until the end of April, so there'll be a crossover period of about a month before she steps back. So I've no doubt you'll see David at future meetings. And really to end, I suppose, a couple more slides. We're always looking for volunteers and trustees, and there's a whole range of different skills that will always come in handy. We try to have a situation where there's a lead trustee and there's always some kind of shadow trustee as well, so that workload is distributed evenly, and should anyone want to go on holiday at any time, then they can do so safe in the knowledge that there's somebody handling things in their absence. So to close, I hope you found this meeting interesting and helpful. I hope it wasn't, boring at any point. You never know with these things. Sorry about the technical glitches here and there, but we're only human. And it was our first, meeting in person for 2 years. It has been quite stressful in the run-up to this, has it not, Sharon? Sharon's done a fantastic job at organising this meeting, so I would like her to have a round of applause, because she deserves it. And I'd like to thank our very accomplished speakers. Andy's not here at the moment, but hopefully you'll see the recording. As Nick said, if you can complete the questionnaire, and if you can all sign up to Rare Can, then I think we'll have done the best job we possibly could today. So thank you very much.